Hi folks, I'm Marcus Allen. This is a short video revealing how one of many military persuasion schemes known as the Delphi technique helped connect the dots that Stompernet is a less than honest operation. Take a look at this lengthy message board post at the Warrior Forum from about 2 weeks ago, around the 14th of August 2009. I posted several times under the username To Be One Ask One, and there was a virtual angry mob at the scene. Internet marketers were fuming about getting ripped off by shovel seller and guru Mike Filsaime for his latest product called Affiliate Jump. Affiliate Jump promised to revolutionize the CPA industry and make it easier for affiliates to bank money sending leads to websites. I was participating in the discussion, offering suggestions to get refunds from Affiliate Jump. At first, Filsaime had a no refunds policy, but today has switched that policy thanks to many who posted at the forum. Later in the evening, I noticed a flurry of posts, replying to Andy Jenkins, now retired co-founder of Stompernet. I'd show you the post, but the Warrior Forum has a reputation of deleting smoking gun evidence of wrongdoing, and sure enough, this was no exception. Fortunately, I use a personal information manager to record everything, and here's what Jenkins had to say. As we see, Andy Jenkins offered to act as a conduit to reach Mike Filsaime. Andy Jenkins' post employed a subtle use of the Delphi technique. The Delphi technique uses military-style psychological mind manipulation to shape our thoughts using a combination of deception and distraction. NLP is involved, and the gurus at the top literally worship the concept of NLP as if it were a religion. Needless to say, I was ticked and saw right through this. On cue, the arrival of this internet marketing rock star turned a once angry mob into an almost instant adoring following. People couldn't believe that the one and only Andy Jenkins graced the forum. So I decided to return the use of the Delphi technique and asked Andy about the word on the street that Stompernet was actually in receivership. Receivership is basically one step away from bankruptcy. When a business owner recognizes signs of impending trouble and doesn't want to get involved in a lengthy and expensive bankruptcy, the more attractive alternative is business receivership. I too fell for the Delphi technique and assumed Stompernet was this wildly successful company. And the idea that a company generating over $8 million in just days was amazing to me. After all, we were pounded daily with posts in blogs and Twitter and message boards that Stompernet had the most successful internet marketing launch in history, allegedly signing up over 1,000 people at $797 a month. I asked Andy Jenkins no less than 3 times about this receivership situation, and all 3 times he ignored me. Finally, I asked again, and he effectively said that Stompernet was not in receivership. We soon find out that this is a whopper of a lie. Again, the Delphi technique in action. Fast forward to the very next morning. I logged into the Warrior Forum, and as expected, the entire Affiliate Jump post was deleted. For some odd reason, I decided to visit Anthony Blake Online, a similar message board that typically allows me to post unbiased reviews about these gurus. It was odd because it's been some time since I visited Blake's site. Well, I'm glad I did, as the first post was titled Stompernet Lawsuit, Andy Jenkins Sued Brad Fallon. As we see, an anonymous poster leaked a PDF revealing the dirty details, the behind-the-scenes problems with the 2 Stompernet co-founders. The lawsuit reads like a soap you'd see on daytime TV. Apparently, the co-founders hated each other, and according to the lawsuit, Brad Fallon raided Stompernet's bank account in the tune of $110,000 without permission. Most of the Stompernet lawsuit is riddled with gossip, but here's the most interesting sentence for me. Fallon's unauthorized withdrawals also put Stompernet at risk for having multiple return checks and could have irreparably harmed Stompernet's credit and its relationship with its vendors. This is very telling, as several insiders confirmed to me that Stompernet's staff haven't been paid in weeks and are given IOUs in exchange. So let's think about this for a second. Brad Fallon's famous website, which is myweddingfavors.com, generates over $30 million a year in revenue, yet he's stealing a relatively paltry $110,000 from Stompernet's bank account. And Stompernet brags about generating over $20 million in revenue the very first year. How is that some paltry $110,000 is being pushed as the scapegoat to force Stompernet into receivership? Sure, bigger companies have bigger expenses, but they also make larger profits. The idea that such a relatively tiny amount of money forced Stompernet into receivership doesn't smell right. Also, we're told that receivership was used as a bargaining tool for a buyout. This too makes no sense at all, as the risk of this news getting out would seriously damage Stompernet's lofty reputation. But here's the most interesting part of this so far, and there's no doubt in my mind it's going to get really interesting soon. Who is the original poster named Stompernet? Now check this out. I asked Mike Young, the global moderator, if he was the person who posted as Stompernet. I asked only because the post was modified, as you can see here, by Mike Young. Mike quickly replied that he was merely editing the original post because newbie posters can't include hyperlinks. And Mike was merely editing the link to make it clickable. That seemed plausible at the time, and I apologized to Mike. But something nagged at me a few days later. After all, there were many newbie posts here, and they didn't get fixed by Mike Young. More on that in a moment. I later got a private message suggesting that I open the PDF file and see who authored it. Wow, the author was Andrew Jenkins himself. That's interesting, as Adobe Acrobat clones the author's name from the registration file, so it would be nearly impossible for some imposter to fake it. But folks, here's the most interesting part. Remember how Mike Young's edit nagged at me? Well, check this out. First of all, the site that hosted the Stompernet lawsuit PDF file is now offline. There's no surprise there. Here's a thumbnail of what it once looked like. But get this, when you perform a simple who is search on the site, you get an IP address of 74.54.252.146. And when you look at who owns the site, not surprisingly, you see an anonymous registration. But when you see what other websites are hosted on this IP block, you see what I find, that the website 10bestholidaypresents.com is owned by Mike Young. It's the same Mike Young who's the global moderator at the Anthony Blake Online Forum. The same Mike Young who said that there's nothing sinister going on here. Do you see how the Delphi technique is used over and over again to distract and deceive us? One more interesting side nugget. When I force an error on the website 10bestholidaypresents.com, I do that, by the way, by hitting some page not found on the site, we see that the error page points us to the domain sarahleckleitner.com. And when we visit this website, we see it's an old blog for one Sarah Leck Leitner. The blog hasn't been updated since April of 2008, and the last post features a mention of, yep, you guessed it, internet marketing lawyer Mike Young. Now, I don't know who Sarah is, or at the moment how she's connected to the situation, but I'm sure it would be quite interesting to connect the dots. I encourage you to pass this video and audio around. Staying silent and allowing these guys to continue with their cover-ups only makes things worse. You have my permission to spread this far and wide. The easiest way is to Twitter this or Facebook it, maybe post it on your blog, or even better, email it to your list. If you're looking to stay up to date on the Stompernet situation, you might be interested in going to my website at www.fetch123.com and clicking on the link titled Stompernet Exposed. This is my site, and I plan to watch how this fleshes out and report back my findings to you. Once again, that's www.fetch123.com.